We give it a couple more minutes here so we can make sure we have a quorum, then we'll get started.
Hi, Eric, it's Jennifer. We do have a quorum, but I got a little technical issue over here on something slow today with Zoom and promoting the panelists. So give me
Okay.
just a second.
All righty, thank you.
I'm going to reach out to Gordon also. He's on vacation this week, but he said that he would jump on the Zoom call.
Okay, great.
I'm gonna send him a quick text.
Thanks everybody for joining us. We're waiting for one more. Got three, need four for a quorum, so hang tight if you would. We're working on getting a fourth.
I don't have a response from Gordon. Eric, did you want me to send Michael Riddell and Walt email?
Yeah, if you would, I tried to give Walt a call. Also, Mike Pitcock would be good to see if we can get him on there as well,
Okay, give me 1
if you
second.
don't mind. Thank you.
Mhm. Michael Riddell said he'll join us in just a second.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Looks like he just called in.
Yeah, I'm waiting on it to click over. I promoted him to panelist.
Perfect. There he is. All right.
Okay, I'm here.
Thank you very much for calling in, Michael.
Well, honestly, you just caught me at the right time because I've been on jury duty and we got dismissed, so I'm back in the office for a little bit.
All right. Perfect. All right. Well, so with the time being 1:42, call the December 8th, 2021 Stanislaus and Tuolumne Rivers Groundwater Basin Association Groundwater Sustainability Agency meeting to order. Welcome, everybody. Sorry for the delay. As with every holiday, it seems like we got some vacations and other things going on, so I apologize for the delay. On the phone, we have Michael Renfro with the City of Oakdale. We have Miguel Alvarez with the City of Modesto, Michael Rydell with the City of Riverbank, and myself with Oakdale Irrigation District. I'll add that one of the reasons we're having problems getting quorum, reaching quorum today is that Chad Tinkin had his last day at Modesto Irrigation District, I believe last Friday. So he has moved on to join John Davids at Davids Engineering and is no longer with MID. So he will not be able to be a voting member. And then Gordon is on vacation, so I'll be covering for him a little bit today. So again, thanks for joining us. We'll move right to item number 2, business from the public. So at this time, interested persons are welcome to introduce any topic within the agency's jurisdiction. Matters presented under this heading may be discussed, but no action will be taken by the agency at this meeting. So with that, I will open it up to the public for any business from the public, not on the agenda. John, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, can you hear me, Eric?
Yep.
Can you hear me, Eric?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
Eric, do we
Yeah.
actually want to let him in, seeing as how he keeps bailing with everybody?
I'm sorry.
I said, should we actually let John talk, seeing as how he keeps bailing and taking everybody with
I
him?
know, right?
Hey, easy now, guys. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Eric, thanks for letting me speak. I really just wanted to recognize, I think we're at the point now where, the GSP is getting close to being done, and just thought it was worth recognizing, the hard work of all the member agencies and the consultant team. And you guys should be proud of your work. Hopefully folks can take a bit of a breather after the GSP gets submitted, but not for too long, because then the annual report comes close on the heels. So anyway, just my hats off to the group. I think you guys should be proud of your work. And I know it's been a hard lift and a heavy lift getting to this point. So that's all.
I agree. Thanks for that, John. And I concur. I definitely don't want to take too long of a breather because we got a lot of work to do, but this is definitely a milestone that I'm looking forward to achieving and getting past. So thank you, John. Thank you, John. Allison and Dave, you have your hand up. It's like you're currently muted.
So I just wanted to make sure that you have us muted because I can't find a mute button.
You're unmuted now, so we can hear you.
Okay, so mute me so that I can be free to do what I want.
Know that can we do that, Jennifer?
Yes, I can mute her back.
Okay. There we go. Any other business from the public before we move on to item 3? Okay, item number 3, which is the November 10th, 2021 meeting minutes. Assuming you all have had a chance to review the minutes, I will entertain a motion.
Good job, Eric. I will make that motion. Renfro.
Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.
Get a second.
I'll go ahead and second it, Eric.
Rydell was first to the punch there. Thank you. So hearing a motion and a second, I'll open it up to comments from the member agencies first. Okay, moving to the public. Comments, questions on the minutes? Hearing none, see no hands raised. We'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Perfect, motion carries. Moving to item number 4. I'll be covering this for Gordon. So this is the same resolution we've had in the past. So AB 361 was passed on September 16th. It made changes to the Brown Act and the requirements under which public agencies may hold remote meetings. In order to hold virtual meetings, the STRGBA GSA will have to comply with the Brown Act requirements for teleconferences or the requirements of AB 361. The drafted resolution, as has been in the past, would satisfy AB 361 requirements to allow us to continue to meet via Zoom. With that, I will entertain a motion.
Run for a motion.
Thank you, Renfro. Have a second?
Second.
Is that you, Miguel?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Any comments or questions from the member agencies? Comments, questions from the public? Okay, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Moving to item number 5, budget and schedule update. So Gordon's out, but the budget bar chart was attached, so you should have already seen that. Todd Groundwater Team has expended approximately 83% of the allocated and budgeted cost and completed 97% of the time for the project. So we're looking like we're in good shape as of now. Comments, questions from the member agencies on the budget and schedule? Okay, budget and schedule, comments, questions from the public? All right. Moving on to item number 6. This is a public outreach update, and is Samantha on the phone?
Yep, I'm here.
Hi, Samantha.
Just a quick update for me. As most of you know, the draft GSP in its entirety is up on the STRGBA website and available for public review. There is still a week left in the public comment process. So if you would like to submit comments, you can email those to strgba@mid.org. And then on MID's side of it, our board of directors will be having a public hearing next Tuesday on the 14th to adopt the GSP on their end. So that's all I've got.
Perfect. Yeah, the public comment period closes the 15th, which is a week from today, as you stated. So thank you very much, Samantha. Any comments, questions from the member agencies on that?
So one of the things that, and I realize it's draft and all this kind of stuff, but one of the things that I've done is mine's going to go to council the 14th, next Tuesday. So I supplied the link to the STRGBA for all my council members instead of trying to print that bad dog out. I did, however, because we said we would, I did, however, print one copy and have it on the counter at my office, which is what I guess we said we were going to do. So with that, then once we get the reso and everything signed, is that all coming to you, Eric, or is that going to Jennifer? Or?
Yeah, send it to Jennifer and Gordon, and they'll be assembling that
Okay.
for us, along with Todd.
All right.
Yeah.
And once I get through that, I'll also, since I got just a minute to let you know that I am going to be retiring 1st of May next year.
Well, congratulations.
Don't have any idea at this point who will follow behind me, but I'm hoping that they're going to have enough sense to give me at least a month or two with whoever's going to replace me to get them up to speed.
We hope so too, because we need a quorum.
Yeah, I know. I'll try to make sure that at least somebody's on the phone for you.
I'm just kidding you. Thanks, Michael. Congratulations, that's great.
Thank you.
Eric, this is Miguel City Modesto.
Here you go.
We're also going to City Council to adopt the GSP on December 14th and also having a public hearing. Want to let the folks on the phone know that.
Thanks, Miguel. As is OID. So we will be having our public hearing and adoption on the 14th. And we've already had a presentation, so I think it should go smoothly. Walt emailed me and said that they had approved the plan from the county. So he's going to send over the signed resolution here as he gets that. So making progress. Okay, we will open it up to the public now. Mr. Fogarty, you have your hand up. Oh, just went down.
Lowered his hand, but he's unmuted. You can speak, Mr. Fogarty.
Oh, okay. You've done a wonderful job. A lot of data. I don't know how much the general public will understand all this. Is there going to be at some of these meetings some way for somebody to kind of more earthly sense or something that regular people can kind of understand it?
I'm sorry, it was a little bit difficult to hear you. It sounded like you were hoping to have it explained a little differently at the meeting. Was that the gist of your question?
Yeah. Yes. There's a lot of data there, I think, for the general public to try to comprehend. And I'm just wondering how much people are going to understand it.
Yeah, so from OID's perspective, or at least what we've done is I did a presentation at our meeting, and it was a lot more of a high level presentation. It didn't dig into all of the details, but it provided a good overview, I believe, of the entire plan and kind of where we're heading with it. And I think a lot of the other member agencies have done that as well. So there likely are some presentations going on the 14th during that public hearing. Michael, are you doing a presentation? Either of the Michaels, Rydell or?
Yeah, this is Riddell. Eric, I'm doing, I have pretty much, I stole Walt's PowerPoint and just kind of adjusted it.
Okay.
So I'll do that presentation, but yes, there will be a presentation for the public hearing.
Okay.
Yeah, for us as well, Eric, Walt was kind enough to share it with us all. I've been talking to Kendra, and maybe she'll add it to the toolkit with
Okay.
the resos and everything. And I wasn't certain, Eric, if the reso changed in the 11th hour with Walt. We just want to be sure to be adopting the same resolutions. So an updated toolkit would be fantastic. It's really helpful.
Okay. Yeah. So those would be some opportunities to hear a little, higher level presentation. OID, like I said, we already had ours. MID. So I think Phyllis was going to do a presentation at MID as well.
Yes, that's correct, Eric. So that's on also on Tuesday, the 14th at 9 a.m. And I'll be glad to answer any questions if you have the opportunity, Mr. Fogarty, to attend that. And you have any questions that you'd like to ask, I'd be glad to address those at that time.
Okay. And I know, sorry.
Our presentation is in just a little bit more detail than a few of these others.
Okay. Yeah, so Walt already had his presentation as well, but those are some opportunities to go to those specific meetings of those member agencies, which I'm sure are available on Zoom too, if you're interested in tuning into one of those.
Yeah, that's correct. City of Riverbank's on Zoom. So.
Okay.
And just a quick update for me, Eric, because of vacations and we don't have a January 3rd meeting. We're doing ours January 18th. It's not because we're not prepared or haven't been working on it. We have Jeff Black. Many of you in the groundwater world know Jeff Black, engineer from Blackwater Consultant Engineers. He's put together a memo for the director and city manager. We're ready. We just, again, because of the schedule and how it works out, the January 18th, and he and I and Director of Public Services will be presenting that. But everybody's welcome to attend if they like.
Excellent. Thank you.
Will there, be a list of where they are, and are these Zoom meetings or are they actual in person?
Well, for the city of Riverbank, it's both in person and Zoom. All right, so it's big council chambers downtown for the city of Riverbank, Tuesday evening at 6 p.m.
Oakdale's is in person. You can view via live stream, but you cannot comment.
And are those your website? It's just your standard website, right? Under maybe under a meetings tab or something. So
Yes.
City of Oakdale website and the City of Riverbank websites.
That's
Yes.
right. Mhm.
And in ours, you are able to comment.
And for Modesto Irrigation District, that's also an in-person and Zoom at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, the 14th. And we are taking comments at that meeting as well.
And again, and that's on the link for that agenda is going to be on the MID website, I'm sure.
Yes.
Does that help, Mr.
Believe
Pupper?
believe the city of Modesto is doing the same thing in person, and then you should be able to see it on Zoom. And one more thing I was going to mention, I mean, we've had past presentations regarding the various chapters, which are also available on our STRGBA GSA website. There's videos.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Did go dive into details. It wasn't finals, but still a lot of the material still pertinent.
So I'm in the Oakdale area, so the OID has already done all their presentation. So this will just be a adoption.
Yeah, so it'll be a public hearing where we will field comments and input from the public, but we have already done a presentation, so there won't be a specific presentation at the meeting on the 14th. However, it's one plan, we're all one GSA. So the same plan that the city of Modesto, the city of Riverbank, the city of Oakdale, Modesto Irrigation District, we're all adopting the same plan. So there will be elements explained in there that will pertain to everybody, even if you are just in the OID, if you're in the OID service area. And feel free to contact me individually if you have specific questions or want to talk about it. And I believe, I want to say that my presentation that I made at the last board meeting is actually on our website as well. So you could pull up the presentation, we could have a conversation. I can kind of walk through that with you. If you're available and would like to do that instead, happy to do that.
Okay, thank you very much. I know there's a lot of people I've talked to that don't know what's going on here, and I don't know if they're not paying attention or not, but anyway, thank you again.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. And if you wouldn't mind, if anybody brings it up, and tell them to give us a call, any one of us, reach out to us, or just anything you can do to help spread the word is much appreciated as well. Okay, Stacy, you have your hand up.
There we go. Sorry. Now I can unmute myself. I just had a question about the time frame for the comments. So if the comment period is expiring on next week on the 15th, are you guys going to provide any update to chapter 9.2 with respect to the projected costs for the implementation and also for the funding sources before the plan is officially submitted? Or are you going to be submitting the plan with hashtags in lieu of dollar figures?
You want me to answer that, Phyllis, or would you like to provide?
Sure, go ahead and I can add something if you'd like.
Yeah, I think we've talked about what to do to put in place of those hashtags. We will certainly put something in place or modify those sections where the data has yet to be filled in. We wanted to get it out in front of the public to get some feedback. So yes, the short answer is yes, we will be updating it before official submittal.
And I recognize that the way that the plan has described the projects is there's a lot of uncertainty because they're still planning to be done. So I fully understand that you don't have figures, hard fast figures. I was just curious if you guys were going to put in figures or not, so that I didn't want to address something if it didn't need to be addressed. Along the same lines, I did have a question just for clarification so I can make sure that I gear my comments appropriately. With respect to the funding source, there is an explanation of the potential for pumping fees, assessments, and a combination of fees and assessments. And there's a little bit of a discussion about how to apply these fees and assessments, or to structure them. So is there going to be any further detail that comes out as part of the final version of this plan, or are you guys planning to submit it kind of as is, saying that these things are going to need to be determined in the future?
Phyllis, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think at least without fielding the comments, but we're basically throwing out some options, and we're not committing to anything until we have further discussions. So I don't know how much more detail we're really going to provide in there, other than saying these are things we could do and approaches we could take.
Okay, and then, oh, go ahead, Phyllis, sorry.
I'm sorry, Stacy. I was just going to add a couple of things. Eric is exactly correct. That's where we stand with respect to that management action item. And the details will be developed, of course, in a public process during the first couple of years of implementation. Part of the reason that there is some uncertainty associated with some of those management actions is that it depends on how which components of those actions might be needed with respect to how quickly we can get projects going and get results of those projects underway. And so there's some uncertainty associated with the timing of the management action as well as the details, but we are committing the GSAs to looking into the details of the programs that aren't yet fully fleshed out in the first 2 years of the implementation period.
And then just a final follow-up on that question, Phyllis, thank you very much, or your comments. Thank you very much for that clarification. What seems to happen is that we have these meetings that are public, but then there's also separate meetings that go on amongst the member agencies that are not conducted in a public session. And so I just wanted to make sure that to the extent that there's going to be a discussion about potential imposition of fees or assessments or any sort of charges on any of the landowners, that all occurs in a public session.
Understood. And it's my understanding that that's the GSA's intent as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So I see a couple questions in the chat. So from Allison and Dave, I want to say Bosher. So direct recharge is mentioned in 8.2.3.1. Is it described in more detail elsewhere? And then there's, yeah, you want to?
Yeah, hi, I'll just jump in. I don't have the detailed answers probably to these questions that you're looking for, but I'll say a couple of things. So direct recharge that's mentioned in 8.2.3.1 is simply the process. What we were trying to do in that section is differentiate between in lieu recharge and what we called direct recharge. And so I'll just quickly explain it, and then I'll also point you to another place in the document. So the direct recharge would be whereby there would be surface water brought into an area and actually recharged physically into the groundwater system. This might be done via a spreading basin. There are recharge basins. It might be done via off stream or along stream. We've seen some recharge projects involving the Dry Creek area, for example. So the direct recharge is a sort of a phrase that we've used in the GSP to differentiate between physical actual recharge of a water supply versus the in lieu, which would mean using surface water conjunctively with groundwater, whereby groundwater pumping would be offset by surface water delivery. So that's the intent of differentiating that direct recharge. We do have other areas in the document that talk about groundwater recharge, both from the standpoint of river recharge and interconnected surface water and the water budget sections, as well as some information in chapter 3 on areas of recharge and discharge within the subbasin. So I hope that helps a little bit to that question. And then let's see, the second question here, you suggest that you're interested in the surface water delivered during the irrigation season, as mentioned in 8.2.3.1.4. So I think what we're referring to here is the project in chapter 8, whereby we are looking to be able to deliver additional excess available surface water into the management areas where groundwater has been relied on solely in the past. And I'm not 100% sure exactly what the question is with respect to that. We have some volumes in that section associated with what we think might be available, although it would vary, of course, greatly from year to year. So that's what we were referring to for that project. I hope that helps.
Allison and Dave, feel free to respond back if there are additional questions related to that after that response, or raise your hand and we can talk. Oh, looks like you're.
So hi.
Hi, Allison.
Yeah, so hi. I'm interested in how the excess water would be determined. So Phyllis just said excess water would be used in lieu of pumping in wet years or above normal years or something to that effect. So how would the determination of excess be decided?
Eric, do you want to say something about that? I think MID and OID.
Yeah, is this specific to OID or is this, can you clarify that, Phyllis? Is this just OID?
I'm not sure which project this refers to be honest with you, but I think she's asking more along the lines of just how we would look at quantifying the potential surface water deliveries.
Just to clarify, this is Liz from Todd Groundwater. This is project number 7, the Tuolumne River Flood Mitigation and Direct Recharge Project. And it's a cooperative project between Modesto Irrigation District and the non-district east landowners. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, and ultimately, I mean, this is ultimately a board, from OID's perspective, this is a board decision. However, there are things you could do each year to, you have averages. Averages aren't great to live off of, obviously, but there are ways to determine each year generally what you would think you're going to use. And as we move through the year, we make adjustments. And so each year is a little bit different, but you generally know what you're within a certain range of accuracy, what you're going to use each year. And it gets more certain as you move through the year. So I don't know if that helps answer your question either, but ultimately it's a board decision and staff looks to the board to and has those discussions with the board during public meetings. So I would encourage you to stay in touch with that, in tune with that, as those projects, really the details of those projects are become a little more, those projects become a little more defined rather. Does that help, Allison?
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm just wondering how excess water would be determined for MID when they have a FERC license. So I was just, and other commitments that TID has made to series and keys, et cetera. So I was just curious how, if there was some thought given to what's going to be the process for MID to know if they have excess water.
Yeah, and I think those details, like I said, as the project becomes more defined, those discussions will certainly be had at those meetings. So I'd encourage you to stay in tune with them, in tune with that process as it plays out. Okay, so I'm not seeing any other public comment, and I'm assuming that most of that was probably related to what we're going to provide in item number 7, but we'll move on item number 7 and cover this basis. So item number 7 is a GSP update, and that was going to be, that discussion is going to be headed by Todd groundwater, so likely Phyllis, I think, right? Phyllis, Liz?
Yeah, yes, thank you. So just a couple of things, and most of my thunder has already been stolen. We have already talked about the public comment period ending 12/15. We're more than happy to have your public comments. Right now, we only have approximately 4 comment letters that have been submitted to date. So we're looking forward to hearing from our stakeholders on additional public comments. So please provide that if you can. And then just as an additional comment, the GSAs, as Eric and some of the discussions have just indicated, that the GSAs are continuing to fill in some of the holes in the document with respect to some of the details of the projects in particular, and some of the text surrounding funding mechanisms. I think that, we've landed at a place where some additional funding mechanisms have been sort of ironed out, and things can be put a little bit more detail can be added to the document. So we'll be doing some of that. We have some comments to get into that, and we're going to get a revised GSP up on the website as soon as we get public comments together and into the document. And the GSA is going to be looking for the GSP adoption on the second Wednesday of January, and that date is the 12th. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Phyllis. Comments, questions from the member agencies on GSP update? All right, comments, questions from the public? All right, well, seeing none, hearing none. Our next meeting is scheduled for the 12th of January. We're hoping to adopt the GSP at that meeting. And that'll be via Zoom. Questions, comments on that from the member agencies?
You know what, Eric? This is again Miguel City Modesto. I was in a meeting not too long ago with Gordon when he went into detail regarding the GSP projects. I would recommend Allison, if she emails Gordon, he probably could, give her more details regarding when what's considered access, because he did get multiple questions regarding the project and was able to answer the majority of them. And he might be able to expand on that for her.
Yeah, so Allison, there is a way to submit comments on the GSA website, STRGBA GSA website. So if you want to submit a comment, Gordon will actually see that, and he could kind of pass around there and see what other feedback he might be able to provide. Like I said earlier, I'm not sure that those details are really ironed out. It's ultimately a board decision, but it is a way to get in touch with them ideas, as Miguel pointed out. So thank you very much for that, Miguel. Renfro, did you want to?
So just to be clear on the action that Phyllis just talked about, where the GSA adopts the GSP,
Yes.
not all the member agencies have to have their boards approve it yet, because I'm not going till the 18th of January. Is that true?
You're not going till the 18th of January. No, I think we need to be before we need to be on the, need to be ready to take action on the 12th. So with that, I'm not sure. I mean, I think we're going to have a quorum, and we're still going to have if you abstain, I think we would still be able to pass it. I'd have to think about that a little more. We can talk offline, but hopefully we have a quorum and we have enough votes to approve the plan, even without your approval, if that's the case. We can talk offline more about that, though. Comments, questions from the public? Okay, item number 9 is just items too late for the agenda. Do we have any items too late from the agenda?
Eric, this is Miguel with City Modesto. I know
Yes.
we'll probably have a separate meeting, but to discuss budget for the annual report, cost sharing update and whatnot. I was working with Gordon, but I guess we'll talk here in the near future.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
I guess
all of- Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess the update I have for staff is since we didn't touch the contingency for the GSP, I'm going to try to leverage as much of that to bring our costs down for the annual report, if that's okay with the members. And that's kind of like the details I wanted to talk to staff about.
Mhm.
And then I know Gordon's working on an updated cost sharing agreement for the 8 members to pitch in for the next annual report.
Yeah, so right after the January meeting, we're gonna have to, that's gonna be our next order of business, is really meeting that deadline in April for the annual report. So covering those costs, we'll have to have those discussions as well. Yep. And that all makes sense to me, Miguel, but I think we
Okay.
obviously need to have those. We'll have further discussions on that.
Okay, sounds good.
Likely an agenda item, or at least a discussion item in January. Thanks, Miguel. Anything else? Okay, well, I'd like to wish everyone a happy and safe holiday. I look forward to addressing all the comments that are received and adopting our GSP in January. Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you all.
Have a good day.